something we all need. Gotta have it now if you wanna succeed. Striving, surviving, that's no doubt. Sticking together, we gon' find a way out. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all. To all you young people, give it your all.
Listen, we are here again. This time in person.
Yeah.
You know, this is rare. I got to look at the camera for this one and tell you, this is rare. You know, in-person interviews rarely happen, but this one is live. I can reach out.
Hey!
Hey, listen, everybody. This is Tyrell.
Charlene Ridley.
All right, and we are actually recording and reporting to you live from her studio in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's an honor, it's a pleasure, and a privilege to, one, been able to walk your space, to get the full backstory of, you know, what you and your daughter did here, creating the space, and yo, it's dope. It's dope. You gotta come here to come see it for yourself. But before we get into that, you know, some of you guys might not have. You might not remember Charlene from a previous episode on the Back community.
Yeah.
Here's a plug to go back to go check that one. But you know,
we've done a couple of things together because we did Dare to Live, we did the Back community, and then we got to do the fireside chat about the book. Right? Listen. But this is our first in person, so this is dope. I'm so happy that you're here.
Hooray! Hooray! Well, listen, I am like a kid in a candy store right now. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it go. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
So my very first thing that I want to do, being in your space, I have to say this is a major accomplishment.
Thank
right?
you.
It was something that you envisioned and wanted to create. So I gotta say congratulations. I love walking the space. Thank you for giving me time to get a chance to come over and walk the space in person, because videos won't do it justice. But tell me more about this concept. Why a Unpause Your Dreams Studio? Why here in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina? And why now?
Wow, that's a lot of questions, but I got a lot of answers because you know that. You and I can just talk. But first of all, I'm glad that you're here, right? Like, I'm really glad that you're here. You are one of those people that you're going to come through, you're going to support, you are going to check on your people, and I really appreciate that about you. So, us talking, we always get to talk, like, and we go deep.
I mean, we can go back to the reunion too if you want. But we save that for
That's true.
that one next.
Ooh, okay.
You know, Love Is Blind reunion had us in there.
Oh,
chatting
man.
about some things.
And that was a Charlotte episode. See, now I feel like we got to come back and do a all things Charlotte kind of talk, because Charlotte is a very personal city to you, right? And this is my home now. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay. But for the Unpause Your Dreams Creative Studio. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Charlene Ridley. I am a dream development coach. And so I help people take their someday dreams and make them right now realities. And the one thing that I love about that is that we don't have just one dream, right? We dream in so many different areas. But what I've realized over the last 7 years of coaching people, is everyone has a reason why they're not living their dream. And the top two that I hear most often are time and money. Right? And so when I think about that, I'm like, okay, how can you solve for that? And to be honest with you, I think that everything in your life comes together to create a moment, and you either say yes to it or you let it pass by. I didn't necessarily know that the creative studio would be a moment that would solve for those two issues, right? What this was born out of is I was thinking of business ideas, right? Because I'm a creative, I'm a multi-passionate person. And everybody was saying, open an event space, right? You can make money opening an event space. And I was looking around the Charlotte market for event spaces, and it wasn't reasonable in terms of cost. And so I looked for 2 years. I kind of stopped thinking about an event space because I was like, okay, maybe that's not the thing. And sometimes, you start questioning things, because I'm always checking in with myself, like, is that your dream, or you just borrowing other people's dreams again? Right. And I say again, because corporate was somebody else's dream, not mine. Not mine. So I had to check in with myself and I kind of put it on the side. But what I realized is that while I put it on the side, there were some things that God was doing and God was moving and healing certain areas of my life so that when the opportunity for this space became available and He gave me the instructions, I would say yes. So this space became available and it actually happened right after I had gone to a brunch with a group of women. And God used that brunch. The brunch was all about your voice, and it used the brunch to heal my relationship with groups of women, right? Particularly women of color. And that was a big deal because, you know, you and I have talked about this. I grew up being ostracized, like literally having to physically fight because of how I sounded. And so when it came to women of color in rooms of color, I wasn't comfortable. And so I get to this brunch and my friend is speaking and she's speaking on unpacking your voice. And so at the end of it, they said, what is God putting on your heart right now that you need to walk out of this room with? And for me, it was walking out of the room feeling comfortable and being okay in a room full of women of color and feeling like I belonged and I was safe in that space. So that was the first part that God was healing, right? Then the next piece that He was healing actually was around just what the space was going to be. Because I told you, I thought event space. I thought baby showers, birthday parties, retirement parties, all of that good stuff. My daughter came to me. She was like, Mom, we need to do content. Yep. Y'all, before this, I did not like taking pictures. I did not want to be on camera. I did not like any of that. I had done it and people did not know that I did not like it, but I did not like it. So she found a studio in in Concord, North Carolina, that had like 3 different sets. We took a bunch of clothes, spent 2 hours there, and we did a bunch of shoots. That was also in October. In November, this space, I walked past it and I was like, but they said it was leased. A couple weeks later, it came on the market and I called and the first thing they said was, not an event space. Please say it's not an event space. And I was like, no, actually, it's a content creation studio that also specializes in professional workshops and professional development. And it's so incredible because even though I had been looking for 2 years, it was that work that God was doing on me in October that made me ready to say yes in November. Now, here's the thing. When I said yes, I still wasn't fully confident, y'all, that I could do this, right? Like, I was like, okay, because they loved the concept. They were like, immediately like, apply, let's do it. And then I started looking at what was going on in my life. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's the right time. So I held the application for days and I didn't do it. And the woman followed up with me. And then Amelia said, did you even look at the application to see what they need? You're talking about what you don't have, right? Now here's this. She's coaching me. Right? Now you always need somebody in your life that's going to coach you. So she's coaching me on it. And I open up the application and all of my hesitation, all of my considerations didn't even exist. Didn't even exist. So I went ahead and I filled it out. The woman called me back in 15 minutes. You've got it. When I walked into the space, God was giving me literally vision for every wall. And I was like, okay. And the women and I, my daughter and I, women in the community, we got to work building it. And that was a big deal too, because places that I come from, you don't necessarily ask for help. And let me say this, I didn't ask for help this time either. But when help was offered, I said yes. That's a big deal for me because I haven't always said yes, right? I'm sometimes like, no, I got it. Oh yeah, I'll let you know if I need something. But this time I was like, okay. And women came in and poured in and we built it out, right? So I didn't know that it was going to be for women until we were actually in process of building. And I walked through the door and God said, women only.
Yeah, because I felt some type of way about that. I was just like, when I heard about it, I was like, oh, we gonna do this. And I was like, yeah, we gotta talk about this for women only part. Go ahead.
You know what? You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. So many of the men that are important to me in my life that I have these amazing conversations with, I knew it was gonna be something. So when God said it to me, I wasn't even sure because, I told you, my cousin had already been like, oh, I'm gonna do workshops there. And I was like, oh, man. And I didn't say anything to anybody. I just sat with it. I prayed on it. I meditated. And then I still didn't say anything. I just released it to the world. And when the questions came back from the men in my life that I love, like women only, I didn't answer. I just sat with it and I stood in it because, to be honest, I wasn't completely sure of it yet, right? I just got healed with my women's situation last month, right? Now, here we are, God, the end of November, and you're telling me you are going to put me in charge of something that's women only and send them to me only? That was kind of scary. So I sat with it. And on opening day, I understood it, right? Like we grand opened, we had 50 women here. And those 50 women ranged from ages 19 to 62, 63.
Nice.
And all of them were just here, being in the space, dreaming, creating. And the space is still the answer to the questions, the problems that I had said in the beginning, right? Like you can come create all of your content here. You can spend a day here and do everything you need to do and have content for a month, for 6 months if you wanted to, right? And you can do it reasonably priced.
I love it. Hey, listen, there's nothing better than finding a jewel, in your community or the spaces that you love. And you guys know I love Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's dope to know the owners behind it. So, I have to say that, it's Tyrell Approv.
Thank you. Okay, we get
I
your
like
stamp of
it.
approval.
Yes.
I
Not
appreciate
saying
that.
it's worth that much, but it's Tyrell
Hey,
Approv.
I think that's worth a lot. And y'all that know Tyrell, y'all know that's a big deal.
I think that what's going to come out of this space is going to be life-changing, because what you put in it was something that was dropped on you by God to do. Like, I remember having a conversation with Markia Robinson up in Albany about her Makers of a Man conference, which is like, how can a woman do a conference for men? I just had that same conversation here in Charlotte with Miss Townsend over at Johnson C. Smith at the event that I did earlier today, because she's the face behind a group of a cohort of all men, right? And, but it's like when God lays a nugget on you or tells you that this is where I need you to be, that's where you are. So for you, he's just like, all right, that feeling that you used to have, we're going to address this here in this month. So that next month, we can take it to the next level.
So next month. And it's funny you say that because you and I talk about this. I'm a sprinter.
Yes.
I think God deals with everybody differently, right? And God knows me. So God doesn't, like, if he heals me in October, he knows if he says go in November, I'm going to go, right? But that's just how it is. And I didn't know that that's what October's healing was for, but I can say the space itself is continuously healing, right? Because I look around the room and I look at the women that come through. Like, we're already in April and we have serviced 177 women. 177 women. And I'm keeping track of the number of women because I think in business, we can sometimes get caught up in dollars, right? And in profit and revenue, that kind of thing. But for me, this space is deeply personal, right? Because when God said it's for women only, it became, there's a charge on my life to touch the lives of women, right? And I'm not worried about the money. Money will come if you are on purpose and you're intentional. And so I like to watch the number of women. So
it's the intrinsic value versus the extrinsic value.
Yeah.
And intrinsic always wins, if you're wondering.
Always.
Wins. All right.
Always.
Well, tell the people how we can find you.
Okay.
How do they find out more about the studio? How do they find out more about you? Or where do we find you online? Where do we find you on social media?
Okay, so for the studio, you can follow us on Instagram at Unpause Your Dreams. That's all things for the studio and the creative space. And with the studio and the creative space, again, there's a creative space that we're not in right now. Right now, we are in the podcast room. This room is available for rent. There's also podcast memberships that you could do. So if you are someone that's just getting started and wants to become a podcaster, you can become a monthly member and you'd actually get 4 hours a month for a discounted rate, right? But outside of this room, there are 12 different sets, and you can come in, you can rent that space to do branding shoots, photo shoots, whatever you can think about, right? Webinars, whatever content you want to create. But also, I think it's important because whatever your dream is, you don't necessarily have to wait for somebody else to build the table, right? You can create your own. So for people ask me all the time because I am a paid speaker. So they'll ask, how do you get on stages? Well, here's a way. You can put yourself on it. We have room for 50 people, 50 chairs. So you would actually be able to rent the space to put on whatever workshop, whatever summit, whatever event you wanted to. And we would also promote it as well. So those are the things that are available, right? You can follow us on Unpause Your Dreams at IG, but you can also look on our website, unpauseyourdreams.com, for all things Charlene Ridley, coaching, speaking, Airbnb, all of the things that I do as a multi-passionate woman. You can follow me on I am Charlene Ridley on IG, or you can follow me on LinkedIn at Charlene Ridley.
I love it. I love it. She is Miss Serial Entrepreneur, if there ever was one. I'm still wondering if she has Jamaican in her blood. You know the saying, they say you got multiple jobs. So.
Hey, how many jobs you got?
Yeah, how many jobs you got? But listen, man, I just wanted to take a few moments, like I said, to highlight you, to showcase what you have here, what you're creating here. And like I said, to get it out to the world, to let them know how to come find you here in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte, I'm in Charlotte. You should, if you're in Charlotte, the same way that I'm in Charlotte, you should be where I'm at. So come check out the Unpause Your Dreams Studio here in Charlotte. Did I say that?
Yes,
right?
You said it. But wait, I have something else to say. I forgot. There's two things that I have to say. So we also in-house host events monthly, right? So every month we do something that is I think it's so critical, right? Because this space creates entrepreneurship ideas. And so we do an event called Bites, Brains, and Business Building. That's where women entrepreneurs that are either already in practice or are aspiring come to the table. They sit down, we unpack, first of all, life, right? Because women are not like men. We're not able to compartmentalize, right? There are certain things, if they impact us, then it'll impact our business because our focus is elsewhere. So we come and we bring those things to the table. We talk through them. We get it out, and then we get to business and we start talking about our business and our challenges that we're having. And then the table pours in, right, from a perspective of another entrepreneur. So I love that. We just had that yesterday. Super dope. And then we also have a monthly networking event that is on the last Thursday of every month. And then we try to do different events throughout the month. So like next week, we're having a friend speed dating and night out, because one thing I do know, entrepreneurs don't stop. They need to have fun. So we need to use this space to create some fun too. So we have events. So stay tuned for all of those events. Check out our website, all of those things, so that you can find out about those events. And then the second thing that I have to say is, even though this space is for women, men are welcome.
I'm welcome here. I am here right now.
You are, absolutely. But here's the thing, like I was saying, because women have a lot of considerations, we need the men in our life to support us, right? Y'all tend to have an idea, you start thinking it out. I always say you're methodical. You figure out the path and you go. We tend to think, like, what will my husband think? What's my dad gonna say? What are my, the males in my life, my brother? What about this? What about that? And it's so much easier when you guys come along and support us. So this space is open to men, but really for men to hold space for women to be great.
Listen, it's about time for us to be able to do that.
Thank you.
They say behind every good man is the woman that's propping him up.
Yes.
So, hey,
can y'all prop us up?
I'm about to say, if that is the assignment, Char,
yes,
we can do that.
See, I love that.
Answer that call.
And it's so dope too, because I get to see that. I'm not always here when people rent it because we're on a lockbox system. But when I see a woman come in, I saw one come in to do branding content, and her husband and her brother were with her. And I was like, look at that. Like, right, they're the ones doing her photography or helping out. And they're not like photographers. Like, one had a camera doing the iPhone doing behind the scenes. But it's the fact that they were supporting her in her business that gave her that extra bit to go, right? Like she's like, my brother was saying I need to get back in there and create some more content. I love that because we need that. We do need that. So I wanted to say that so y'all know men are welcome in support of us.
There you go. Know your role.
Yeah. And don't be upset by that role because like you said, we support y'all all the time. Right. And we need you guys to come alongside with us and say, you know what, you got this. I'm with you on it. Let me pull out my laptop and do some content to support you. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you are hearing from us live in Charlotte. Once again, I'm Tyrell Hughes. This is Charlene Ridley, and we want to invite you to Unpause Your Dreams Studio in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're going to change some lives. Yeah. Me in a support role, supporting my women friend, and behind the visionary, the founder herself, breathing into the space. So thank you for all that you do and continue to do, Char, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And we're going to get back on that Charlotte thing.
Ooh, because listen, I'm telling you, this was the best season of Love is Blind.
Ooh, awesome. Wait a minute. We got some opinions about that. Y'all don't have time today.
Bye-bye.
Keep climbing up the ladder. Black lives matter. They matter. So all you young people, give me all. 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 Matter. Black lives matter. They matter. Black lives matter.